Hello. Welcome to this video about Iceberg support in Databricks as of March 2025. Just some bite-sized examples to really give you a gut feel of how to get started. It's really cool. Um, okay, so the first thing is just Iceberg Interop. This is how you would take really new tables, any existing tables, and make them consumable as Iceberg in any engine. You could do it. Of course, you can consume in Databricks, but you can consume in any other Iceberg consuming engine. Then we have managed Iceberg, and that's where you could write from any external engine. You could have Iceberg in Unity Catalog, and then you can consume it, you can use it, you can mix and match. And then so that gives you for your existing data in Databricks, you have Iceberg support. For engines outside of Databricks read and write, you have Iceberg support. And then if you have an existing lake, an existing Iceberg lake, and you want to make that available to Databricks, we have foreign Iceberg support. And that just means like it's managed by something else other than Databricks. And we can connect to that as well. So you should be able to mix and match and use anything you want. Get the job done. Okay, let's go. First, we're going to install some libraries. I've already done this just so it's we don't have to watch in the video. But a little tip: PyIceberg it changes a lot, adds new features pretty regularly, and I've been burned just a few times. Go ahead and pin that version if you do build anything you want to schedule, because it changes, adds new features, it changes APIs. So just keep that in mind. All right, first let's create a table, and this shouldn't feel any different than any other table you would create. This is a new one. So I have a space stuff data set, and I'm going to create space stuff Iceberg. So we'll run that. And I'm running this all on serverless. I didn't have to install any sort of like Spark libraries or anything wild like that. It just works. Cool. All right, so this created the table. The table exists. It has space stuff in it, but you haven't seen that. So let's query it. But instead of doing the normal thing where I'd query it with Databricks, I'm going to query it with PyIceberg. And kind of important here, yeah, I'm running it in Databricks just because Databricks runs Python, but you could run this anywhere. You put this in a GitHub action, in a Docker container. You could run it in any number of clouds. Go wild, right? Run it locally. That's cool. All right, yeah. So this is the connection details. You don't memorize this. This is just for we have docs. So let's run this. So the important stuff is I'll get the Unity catalog like object by loading the catalog with these connection details. I'm using a token just because I grab it from the notebook, but you can do this with service credentials as well. That works fine. And I'm going to go ahead and just get a pandas data frame, good old pandas, by loading that. So let's get this and see what it looks like. Very cool. We've got our stars and galaxies and nebulas. And okay, so we got all kinds of stuff here. All right, so 66 rows, not huge. Go ahead and try this though with massive data sets. That's fine. It's Iceberg. Maybe don't collect them all into a single pandas data frame unless you have a big machine, but go for it, right? All right, next, let's modify this table. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the moon, one of my personal favorite space things. And I don't know if this works as expected, maybe we'll see 67 rows up here. So we'll do that insert, and then I'll go ahead and just run this. And yeah, I'm reconnecting. It's not as efficient, but it's fine. And if this works, we'll see a nice moon. Let's see here, or let me run this. 67 rows, there's the moon. Perfect. Just another object. And it's not just inserts, you can also do deletes. So down here, we'll delete from there where the object is equal to the moon. Go up here. We'll be back to 66 objects. 66, the moon is nowhere to be seen. Great. Okay, so those are the basics. You can do updates. You can do whatever you want to do to the table. Now, one thing up here to keep in mind, you need these 3 properties. I don't know why it takes 3 properties. That seems absurd to me. we should design that better. But don't forget some of these. Like this one, especially, um, is easy to forget. But it's all in the docs. Not that you read docs. I know you don't read docs. That's why you're watching this video. You don't read docs. Get out of here. All right, cool. The last thing is let's go ahead and take our original table, the space stuff that wasn't icebergified, and I'll grab the full name here. And let's just convert it, right? Instead of having to rewrite the whole table to make Iceberg, we can just apply it in place. Cool. And that is done. And you can see anything going on. And it doesn't actually change the way the table appears in Databricks. The other things that I'm using with this table don't care. They don't know. And now if I go up here, I realize it's kind of boring, which is maybe that's what you want, right? With your Iceberg support is boring. So now I'm going to query just original space stuff as a Iceberg table this time. And it's the 66 rows. Perfect. That's it. That is Iceberg Interop directly in Databricks. Now let's do something maybe a little more fun. Let's do some managed Iceberg. So DuckDB and PyArrow, I already installed those above. I'll delete that. And okay, let's do something kind of fun. So I'm gonna to create the data. You can do anything you want. You can use pandas. You can use polars. You can use there's a ton of stuff. I'm using DuckDB. And really, you can use any engine. Like you could use Trino. You could use open source Spark, and StarRocks does this. And I mean, just so many engines support this. So yeah, whatever you want. Here, I'm just creating like a very simple table with DuckDB in memory, and then I'm getting the arrow table out of it. So fetch is an arrow table. I like arrow for this. You could do it with pandas. I think you can do it with a few things. And then I will create the table using the schema of this, and then append data to it. In PyIceberg, I think it would be kind of cool to just like do that all in one. Maybe there is a way, and I'm just kind of dumb. And okay, let's create it. So I will pull open actually my catalog here and go in here, default. All right, we have space stuff, Iceberg. And when we're done, we'll be creating hello Iceberg. But completely from an outside engine, not using Databricks. Well, I mean, I'm kind of using Databricks Compute, but you could run this Python anywhere. It doesn't, like, it's not material to what's happening here. So I'll run that. And, oh, that was really fast. Okay. I'll do the refresh. I guess I could just close this. And there's hello Iceberg with its structure. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't even indicate whether or not it is like something special or anything. If you go and click into it, you can see it's an Iceberg table. So that's kind of cool. And like all the normal stuff works here. Like you would have to care that this is Iceberg versus not Iceberg. Like here's space stuff. This was a Delta table when we started, and I've added all that Iceberg interop stuff. It just kind of is added, so it can be consumed by anything. All right, let's go back. And I thought it would be cool. Now we're going to query it in Databricks. So we created it with something else, and now I'm going to query it just native SQL here for hello Iceberg. And there's our message. Let's see what happens when we do stuff with it. So let's add the same data from before. Let's just add it 4 more times. And it just appends. Whoever wrote that PyIceberg library, pretty cool. Pretty cool people working on that. Faco especially is super cool, and I love working with this library. All right, so now when I go to query this, I would expect to see 5 total records. And look, we got 5 records. And it's not just external writes. We can overwrite the table. So that'll, it's like a trunk and load type thing. And go up here, and we'll run it again. So now I would expect it to just have the 1 record, because we truncated all the previous ones and we added Just one. All right, perfect. That's so simple as to be kind of boring, maybe. And then I like to look at the history of the table. So we're describing the history of this iceberg table. And if you are someone who likes to look in here, so we did the first create, then we did a bunch of appends, and I actually don't know how PyIceberg does those all in one versus I thought it would be like 4 individual appends. And then we have the overwrite. And these are kind of cool to look into. So like they're sourced from just like a general Iceberg client. Let's see here. So we did a create, we did the append, then we did the it removed some files this time, and then added some more. All right, that is it. As far as the external Iceberg catalog, I've got to do more setup for that. But if there's a specific one you want to see, we support. I've not found one we haven't supported. So the big ones are Hive Metastore. That's probably the biggest, just like by presence in the world. Glue, Glue. Those are both really, really simple and easy to set up in here. Glue is AWS Glue. Then there are the 2 other bigger ones, but they're not as big as those first 2. There's Snowflake and like the Iceberg they create, which we have a good UI for that as well. And then the last one is REST catalogs, external REST catalogs. So that could be open source Polaris. It could be like if you had Tabular back in the day. That was back in the day. Jeez, yeah, time's flying. Or who knows? That's an open spec. Anyone can use it. So any number of vendors might be using that. And that one right now a little less easy to do. You could do it with a small script that I have, but we're adding that to the UI as well. But the first 3 are all in the UI right now. So you're good to go. So wherever your Iceberg is, whatever you're doing with Iceberg, whether you care about Iceberg or whether you just care about cheap mix and match of compute and moving data, loading data, you should be able to do anything you want right now, today, in here. Check, check, check. Okay. Now wait till you see the real cool stuff, right? The real cool stuff I legally cannot tell you about, and I refuse to tell you about. I'll make another video for that. All right. Thank you.